So this is how it is. This is God and Satan before existence and the universe. Alright, so God's having a struggle with Satan. God is trying to think, what universe to create. Right? He's trying to think hard. And then Satan is grabbing him. They're fighting and they're fighting. And Satan brings a sword. And God brings a sword too. And they're fighting. They're fighting in heaven. But then Satan was so powerful, he took God to hell, and then back to heaven, and they're still fighting, and then God and Satan are fighting and fighting, and then God has an idea of what the universe is going to be. So he has an idea, but Satan tries to take away his idea, and they're fighting, and so God is more powerful than Satan. So that's not an excuse for Satan messing up the universe if you blame it on Satan for the mass creations. Because remember, God is the most powerful, more powerful than Satan. Satan can deceive, but God is the ultimate, right? The ultimate. Satan cannot even kill without God's authority. And Satan doesn't like hell. Satan wants to go back to heaven, right? And so this brings a good question. Matt Delany asks, if God created the universe, right? And we're explaining, God, he's making his plan, he's trying to think, how to create the whole universe, right? So he's trying to make his plan, he's trying to think. And, so remember, if God can create the universe, God could have made the universe with no evil. Remember, God can do anything, right? It's limited. So he could have made it with no evil. He could have made it like heaven if he wanted to, right? So there's no point for to worship it, because if God had the chance to make a better universe, an all heaven universe with no evil, don't worship. It's no good, because he could have made it all heaven, and then there would be no punishment or reward, because you have all heaven all the time, no evil. Remember, God could do anything. God could have done that if he wanted to. And then you ask yourself, well, why didn't he? Why didn't he? Well, maybe because the God's evil, or just maybe the God doesn't exist. See, you gotta use your brain, folks. You gotta think about this, folks. Remember, omnipotent, right? God can do anything. God could have created all good without evil. But he wanted to fuck us up. He wanted to fuck the whole thing, because he wanted to test everybody. Like I say, this God is fucking evil, man. See? You gotta think about this. You gotta research the word omnipotent. Some people don't know what it means. I researched it, though. Remember. There you go. It's non-existence. God is not love. God is not love, folks. God is not love. And you don't have to obey the crazy rules of imaginary God, because the rules are imaginary. It's non-existent. If God was truly love, there'd be no evil. There would be no testing. There'd be, no free will. It'd be all heaven, all paradise. There'd be all paradise forever, eternity. With or without free will. See, the free will, that's the problem. Because God knows all, and decides to give you free will. If you have free will, you can cause harm. God didn't have to make it like that. God could have made his creation everybody good, but he didn't. And the reason why is because God is non-existent. Remember, God is perfect. His creation would be perfect. Trees not growing in dams, plants not growing in cracks, all kinds of absurdities. God could have, like some of the scientists said, could have created a better universe. Like Himementa says, why does God have to have so many do-overs? See, you really have to think about this. The more you think, the smarter you become, the better society will be. The better society will be. There'll be more atheists. We're getting there. It's going to take some time. We're going to get there, little by little, little by little. Because the more you think about it, and not only that, as science and technology advances, people will have to think as hard, because the science and technology will just be there, will be so advanced, and people will just be living in that civilization. Will be living in that way. Remember when it was like, what was it, like 20 years ago? You had those big ass phones, and now look how far we come. We got phones that are practically mini computers, right? And everybody's on their phones, on their smartphones. Now take that concept, take that 10, 20 years ahead. We probably will have to have phones. We'll probably be talking with microchips in our brain or something. It's going to be crazy. So that's the way it's always going to be. People decided, or deciding now, and think about it now. The whole atheist content is on YouTube, right? It's online. Think about a couple more years where David Silverman is going to put into cable boxes the atheist channel. This is going to be everywhere. It's just going to get to that point, folks. Whether you like it or not. Sorry, but that's just the way it's going to be. Technology, science advances. People will, start to, as science and basically more now, science and technology, like I said, is going to kill religion and gods. It's going to get to a point where it's going to be so advanced, people just won't have to focus on any religion or believe in any gods, because we'll just get to that point. Not everybody will actually be alive probably to that point if you're like really old already now, but the people who are especially who are like teenagers will actually get to outlive people that are like 30 years old that living now. But regardless, we're going to get to that point, and their kids and your kids are going to experience even more, but we'll get to the point where we're going to actually experience the singularity. We will. But I'm saying, like the really elderly people won't have that chance because we'll be too old. Unless we have, the funny thing is, like Ray Kurzweil, he takes 150 pills a day. He actually does it now. And he's like he's focusing on making the singularity happen, the technology singularity. And he says, with these pills, just right now, we have this right now, he can live 10 years longer than he did before. Imagine, he has to take 150 pills to now, like maybe 10, 20 years. Maybe you only have to take one pill. Maybe there'll be like a pill to cure any disease. It's going to get to that point, and the future is going to be much brighter. And not only that, especially when you go to another civilization type or go to another star, we probably don't have to worry about conflicts from the Middle East to fight us for our resources, because we'll have resources from space, and there's a lot of resources from space that we can get from these exoplanets that we will be able to go to, once a space elevator and then a warp drive and all this, which will all become possible. Like I said, it's all going to happen, and then that's going to be good, because if the people in the Middle East want to get our oil, well, they can't. It doesn't matter if they want to, because we'll be living in space anyways. So, yeah. Peace out.